Well, hello, fellow film fans, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Tyler's Real Movie Talk, and this is my spoiler review of Avengers Infinity War. Yes, you heard that right, spoiler review. So if you guys have not seen the movie yet, please click out of this video, go see the movie, and then after you've seen it, come back to this video, join in on the discussion, and see what I thought about really every aspect of this film. But before we get into my spoiler review, I do gotta say, if you're a fan of movie talk, movie reviews, and everything of that nature, definitely consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell down below, which will notify you anytime I have any new content coming out. But with that out of the way, let's get right into this spoiler review, guys. And the first thing I'm going to start with is what I started with my non-spoiler review, and that is Thanos. Man, was Thanos fantastic in this movie. And really, what a way to start the movie. What an intimidating way than that Asgardian ship making that distress call for help because they are getting attacked. And then you go inside the ship, and basically all of the Asgardians are slaughtered. Thor is beaten half to death. He is powerless. He can't do anything against Thanos. And then you have Loki there. Then you have really Ebony Maw, one of Thanos' Black Order, one of his children, really acting as Thanos' hype man. I loved Ebony Maw in this movie. It was kind of nightmarish to hear him talk about, you should feel grateful that Thanos has taken your life in a way. I thought that was weird, but I thought it added to a very nightmare element to Thanos, and I really enjoyed that. And like I said in my non-spoiler review, really within 5 minutes you know what kind of villain you're getting in Thanos, and it is a great way to start the movie. I mean, him killing Heimdall, oh man, right as Thor watches, that is Thor's best friend, and he has to watch him get stabbed in the heart. That was amazing to see. And also what was amazing was Heimdall is the one who sends who sends the Hulk to Earth and sends him to Doctor Strange. Now, we know Heimdall, he has the power to see every soul in the universe, so he sent Hulk to Doctor Strange for a very specific purpose, mainly because Wong and Doctor Strange know about the Infinity Stones, so I think he sent him to Doctor Strange for that very reason, so that they can warn the others about the Infinity Stones and the power that they have. So I thought that was great, and oh man, yep, one of my predictions came true. Now, there were a lot of my predictions that didn't come true, but there were a few of them that did, and one of them that did is Loki gets killed right off the bat. Literally, I would say 5 to 10 minutes into this movie, and the way Thanos does it, he looks at Thor as he's doing it, basically just stares at him, very intimidating. And he just chokes the life out of Loki. But one of the things I did enjoy about Loki's death is, look, he had a sense of redemption, you know what I mean? When he goes up to Thanos and it looks like he's pledging his allegiance to Thanos, but then pulls the knife behind his back and then looks at Thor and calls himself Odin's son, basically signaling to Thor, I'm going to try to stop this. I thought that was great, and I just really enjoyed seeing Loki redeem himself in this movie. That is one of the things I wanted to see, and it is one of the things I got, which they did it perfectly, and I felt sad for Thor watching everyone he loved basically just die, especially after Asgard going down and everything like that. It was just sad. He had a sad story arc in this film, but he had one of the best, I would say, and honestly, I can't say enough about Thanos and the way the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige really did him justice in this film. It was fantastic. Now, another thing I will touch on is what I touched on in my non-spoiler review, is the humor of the film. It is fantastic. Look, when Tony meets Doctor Strange, it is some of the funniest stuff I've seen in a movie. Same with when Thor meets up with the Guardians, but really that battle in New York, look, when Tony calls Ebony Maw Squidward, I lost it. I was laughing so hard because it was a comparison I didn't even think of until Tony said it, and after he said it, that is really all I saw. And it was just hilarious. There's a lot of funny scenes in that part of the Battle of New York, I thought. And really, the Guardians and Thor was hilarious. Look, Star-Lord trying to mock Thor's voice, that is hilarious. Star-Lord telling Groot to get off of his game, that was hilarious as well. The Guardians brought a lot of humor, and mainly Drax, when he's telling Star-Lord, no, you're a dude, this Thor is a man, you're a dude. And then they're basically saying, Rocket says, you're one sandwich away from being fat. And then you see Star-Lord get all self-conscious about himself. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get a Bowflex. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna commit. I thought that was hilarious, and I really thought the Guardians brought a lot of the hilarious comedy in this film, and that's something I was really hoping for. And Drax, really, Drax was the standout. Look, when the Guardians meet up with Strange, Spider-Man, and Tony, I thought it was hilarious because you have Star-Lord and he's like, "Where's Gamora?" And then Iron Man's like, "I'll do you one better. Who is Gamora?" And then you have Drax who's like, "I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?" I thought that was hilarious, and I just like I said in my non-spoiler review, the comedy hits at such a perfect time because this movie does put pressure on you. You feel the weight of the stakes, and then the comedy somehow lifts the weight off in such a perfect way, and the movie is so balanced in that way. Look, the humor does not mess with the stakes of this film, and that is one thing I really worried about because in Thor Ragnarok, I thought some of the humor did undercut the stakes of the film. I thought, this isn't funny. We're losing Asgard. You can stop the jokes now. This is serious. But this film does it in a great way. And I just can't give enough credit to the Russo brothers. Now, let's go on. Now, look, there are a lot of shocks in this movie. First when Gamora seems like she killed Thanos. Wow, I was like, my jaw was dropped. I was like, no, this can't be true. And then I was like, well, how is Thanos going to be okay? And then you figure out that he's already got the reality stone and he's just making them see that. That was great. And then you see him come out with all the Collector stuff is just burning on fire. You assume that he might have killed the Collector probably to get the reality stone. And just the things that he did with the stone. Look, one thing I appreciated about this movie is each stone got their individual power released, which I really enjoyed. You really got to see what each stone could do, and I just really loved that scene because, man, it throws you for a loop, man, because you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? And then, nope, there he comes. It was just a vision that he put in their heads. Great writing, great directing, really great everything. And now to my next point, Captain America saving Vision and Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch. Boy, I loved that scene. Captain America coming out of the shadows. Look, the theaters I was in, both theaters I was in, there were applause when you first see Captain America because let's just be honest, it is completely badass when you first see Captain America in this film and he comes to the rescue. He catches Proxima Midnight's little blade or whatever that is. Like, it is nothing. And even she's shocked. She's like, whoa. And, I really like that because that's usually something the villain does. You really see the villain showcase their power by catching something that the hero throws, Harping back to Captain America the Winter Soldier, when Captain America throws the shield at Bucky and he catches it like it's nothing. But this time the roles reversed. This is to show how powerful the hero is, and I really enjoyed that. And now on to my next point. Look, this film is emotional. You get a lot of Thanos' backstory. You peel back a lot of layers that make Thanos Thanos. And he is more of an emotional character than you might think going into this movie. But it's one of the things I definitely appreciated coming out of it. And really, him killing Gamora. Wow. I mean, him killing Gamora was as emotional as you would want it to be. Look, the first time I saw it, I was just so hyped up to see it that I really didn't think about, him killing Gamora in an emotional way. But the second time I saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is really, really sad because, I completely bought into the fact that Thanos loved Gamora. I never thought for 1 second, no, he doesn't love Gamora. This is how he loses. I never thought. I always felt like he loved Gamora because, when Gamora tries to kill him, and when he gets the Reality Stone, he's kind of proud of it, you know what I mean? And he doesn't hurt her, If he really hated her, he would hurt her like he does Nebula. But he doesn't. And also, you can tell that Thanos loves her really because when Star-Lord is about to kill Gamora, you would think Thanos would kill Star-Lord, but instead, I don't think he wants to put Gamora through that pain. And also in the flashback, we see Thanos when the Chitauri are killing Gamora's citizens and she tries to look, he blocks her view of it and he says, no, 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 focus on this knife, don't look at that. So it really sets up that he really did love her. And just going back to the Star-Lord thing, I thought that was great because if he didn't love her, he would have just killed him, but he didn't want to hurt her in that way. And basically instead, what does he tell her before they disappear? I like him. I thought that was fantastic. And how about the return of Red Skull? Look, everyone's been theorizing, where's the Soul Stone? Where's the Soul Stone? And never in a million years did I think they would bring the Soul Stone to the forefront like that, bringing Red Skull to the movie. Man, I was shocked. My jaw was dropped after I saw Red Skull. I mean, I was shocked. And I think that's part of the reason why the first time I didn't really feel that emotional when Gamora died, because I was in utter shock that they brought Red Skull back. I never thought they would. That was one thing I never expected they would do. The movie felt too crowded, but it is just a really brief appearance, and it works really well for the film. Look, when Red Skull comes on the screen, both times I went to this movie, everybody in the theater, you could hear the whispers. Everybody was stunned, and that was really great. And now the battle on Titan. Yes, we're going to talk about this. This was part of the last act, which the last act in this movie. Oh my goodness, it is full of chills. It is full of goosebumps. It is full of heroic moments that make you just want to stand and clap. It is that good, this last act of this movie. And the battle on Titan is great. Now look, when Thanos stabs Tony, the first time I saw it, I was like, yep, this is it. We're losing Tony, because there's been a lot of theories. We're either going to lose Tony or we're going to lose Cap in this movie. Someone's going down. And I thought it was going to be Cap, but man, when Thanos stabs Tony like that and you see the blood coming out of his mouth, I was like, oh my gosh, this is setting up for Tony to die. I'm about to get so sad right now. This is not what I wanted. But they don't do that. But it really, that's what I mean when this movie's really unexpected. There's a lot of jaw-dropping parts that you don't expect, and then when you expect things to happen after they happen, it goes a totally different way. And that's why this movie is so great. But back on that battle on Titan, Doctor Strange, he gives up the Time Stone. And you know what? After thinking about it, I think he had to give up the Time Stone, because he told Tony in the beginning of the movie, look, if it comes down between the Time Stone saving you or saving the kid, meaning Spider-Man, I'm not going to save either of you. I'm not going to hesitate. My oath is to protect the Time Stone, and that is the number one thing I am going to protect. So it sets it up like never in a million years would he give that up. And then on the battle on Titan, he goes forward, I think it's 14 million times or something like that, and they only win one outcome of these 14 million times. And I really think that's why he gave up the Time Stone to Thanos. You know what I mean? Because if he didn't, that's the only outcome they've won in the long run, I believe, that Doctor Strange saw, is him giving up the Time Stone and Thanos carrying out his mission was the only way in the long run that they would beat Thanos. Excuse me. But yeah, I really enjoyed that part. And it really took some time to think about that, because I didn't know if that's the direction they were going to go. But it is. And I really do believe, because Doctor Strange, right before he disappears, he tells Tony that, Tony's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And he tells Tony, that was the only way. Basically signaling to Tony that, that's the only outcome I saw us winning. A bunch of us have to die, but that's the only outcome I saw us winning, was I had to give up the Time Stone. There was no other way, Tony. That was the one outcome. So I thought that was great. And in a way, I also think, he bargains it for Tony's life. I also think in the outcome that he saw, it's Tony that comes up with the plan to stop Thanos, because Thanos even tells Tony, you're not the only one blessed with or cursed with knowledge. So it really seems like Tony's going to be the one who can outsmart Thanos and really come up with the plan to defeat him. So Doctor Strange knew that. He saw that in his future, so he had to keep him alive any way possible. And I really love that scene with Thanos and Tony. Look, Thanos, he's a warrior, but he has honor among him. He tells Tony, you know what? You've earned my respect, Tony. And he chooses not to kill him right there. And also what he does, which is fantastic in my opinion, is he tells Tony, you know what? Since you've earned my respect, don't worry. I'm going to comfort you with saying half of humanity will still exist when I'm done. I thought that was great, and just really the portrayal of Thanos by Josh Brolin is amazing. He does a fantastic job. Now let's move on to the Battle of Wakanda. Oh my lord, this was the scene that got me the goosebumps for days. I mean, I was getting the nerd chills, the nerd tingles, whatever you want to call it. I was geeking out this whole scene. Look, when you see Black Panther and Steve Rogers lead the assault against the Outriders, wow, because you see them, they're all running towards it, you know, and then you see Steve Rogers and Black Panther, they freaking separate from the pack because they're so fast and so powerful that they are like 10, they're like 30 steps ahead of everybody else, and they're the first ones to get a piece of the Outriders. I had goosebumps during that scene. And also, really, the best scene of the movie to me, the absolute best scene, which gave me the nerd tingles that will probably never ever go away, was Thor showing up to the Battle of Wakanda with his Stormbreaker weapon. Oh my goodness, that was the best part of the film. And you have the old Avengers theme song playing, and it's playing so loud. Man, I had chills. The hair on my arms were standing up. It was great because you see the Bifrost come down, and then out of it you see the weapon swing around, killing all the Outriders, and then it goes away with Thor catching it. And then you see Rocket on his back, and there's Teenage Groot next to him, and it cuts to all the Avengers' faces, and they all have this look of relief, and all they are so happy to see Thor, because a lot of people forget they have not seen Thor in 2 to 3 years, and what a time they are probably thinking. What a time for you to come back. What a great time. And it is great. It gave me the goosebumps because one of the things I theorized was that Thor would want revenge on Thanos in this movie, and he did, and that scene proved it because he shows up to that battle in Wakanda, and the first thing he says is, "Bring me Thanos," and he basically just goes on an assault that he proved he is the strongest Avenger by far. I mean, he made the other Avengers look like nothing when he showed up to that Wakanda battle. He was taking them out single-handedly, and he was doing it in bunches, and it was so great to see Thor show up. That was, hands down, the best part of the movie for me. It was the most heroic moment I think I might have ever seen in a movie. It was fantastic. And now let's get to the end when Thanos shows up to Wakanda. Whew, you know, you have Scarlet Witch, it's getting emotional, she has to kill Vision, she has to destroy that Mind Stone, and you're thinking, oh man, this is heartbreaking. My heart was breaking for her. She has lost her brother, she's lost her, basically, Sokovia, which is where she's from, she's lost a lot of that. She's, you know, part of the reason why Civil War goes on, and then now this, you're going to make her destroy her one true love. It really messes with the heart, and it really does a lot of that for you in this film. And you know what? It was fantastic to see because I was breaking down. I was getting so sad for Scarlet Witch during that scene. And then she does it, you know. The Avengers are obviously, they're no match. Captain America, Hulk, all of them. They are no match for Thanos when he gets to Wakanda. And she sees it. And Vision basically tells her, you have to do this. They can't stop him. They cannot do it. You have to kill me. You have to destroy this Mind Stone. It is me or it is half of the universe. And it's not a fair choice that you have to do this, but you have to. It's just that simple. It's not fair for me to live if it means destroying half of the universe. It's not fair. That was really heroic by Vision, and I loved that part of it. And then she does it. She destroys the Mind Stone. Vision gets killed. Oh, man. And then after that, I didn't even think it could happen, but I guess I should have. Thanos uses the Mind Stone, or uses the Time Stone, and reverses time to bring Vision back to life. Wow, and then kills him himself. I mean, what a way, man. That really messed with the heartstrings. And I wasn't even thinking about the Time Stone at that time, which I should have been, but I just wasn't because this scene was so heartbreaking. And then he uses the Time Stone, and you're just thinking, oh no. Oh no, it's over. It's over. He gets that last stone, pops it in, and then Thor. Of course, it's Thor. Here comes that Stormbreaker, and it gets him right in the chest. And Thor comes down, and he's pushing it in farther, and he tells him, I told you you would pay for that. Basically killing Heimdall and Loki, because he does, in the beginning of the movie, tell Thanos, you're going to pay for that. and he's pushing it in farther. Oh man. And he just tells him, you know what, I told you you were going to pay for that. And I lost it. I was like, man, Thor is the MVP of this movie. But I also was thinking, man, are they really gonna kill Thanos right now? It would kind of seem like a waste. They don't. Instead Thanos goes, you should have went for the head. And then of course the snap, and all half of life in the universe gets destroyed, and we see each person from the Avengers, basically who's gonna go, who's not, and it really is all of the new Avengers that go, and really all of the Guardians of the Galaxy go besides Rocket, which is, wow. You know what I mean? That was amazing. And I just gotta say, it was amazing. And I think, that scene was emotional. When you have Bucky and he's like, Steve, and he just fades away to dust. And then you have Drax who's like, Quill, and then he just fades away to dust. But by far the most shocking deaths were Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Star-Lord. Never in a million years did I think they would do it. Now, obviously, I think they'll reverse it in Avengers 4, but still, never in a million years did I think they would kill those characters. And really, Spider-Man's death was the saddest. Oh, even though he's gonna come back, there is just this feeling you get when he's telling Tony, Tony, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Please, I don't want to go. It is so sad because, he's just a kid, and he's a scared kid. He is scared to die like every other kid in the world. And Tom Holland portrayed that so well. And then you see Tony. It's only Tony and Nebula left on Titan. They're the only ones. And you see the emotion Tony has because he feels this responsibility for Peter Parker's Spider-Man. It's kind of a father-son thing, and that's why Peter goes to hug Tony before he fades away. He says, Tony, I don't feel so good. And then he goes and he gives him the biggest hug imaginable, and he basically tells Tony, I'm scared, I don't want to go, I don't. And it's so emotional, and it works so well because of Tom Holland. And then you see Tony, as he fades to dust, looking down, he puts his hand over his face, and you see the tear come out. Wow, what a way to end the movie. The ending of this movie is one of the most shocking, most gut-wrenching endings I have ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, it really is. Like, me and my girlfriend, we were at the movie, and we did not talk after this movie for, 5 minutes. Like, that is how emotional it was. It was devastating. Just, Peter's gonna come back. But just seeing that was devastating, and seeing the guilt that Tony has for it is absolutely devastating. But, that's what had to be done, and what I think is it's setting up in Avengers 4. It's going to set up, some people are going to have to sacrifice to bring those people back. And I really think that would be the poetic way to end it. And that would be the only way to end it, to make this film still seem like it had stakes to bring those people back. Because if you just bring those people back with no cost, no price, it kind of ruins the stakes of this movie. So I definitely think some of the Avengers are going to have to sacrifice in order to bring those ones back in the next one. But overall, you see Thanos at the farm like he said he would. Like he told Doctor Strange, I will watch the sunset when this is all done. And he's on the farm when it's all done, watching the sunset with a smile. Perfectly done scene. It is actually from the comics, for those of you that don't know. Perfectly done scene, and the Russo brothers did amazing with this movie. Now let's get into some of my disappointments. Now there's not a lot, but there's one disappointment that really shines over them all for me. And that is, there's no Incredible Hulk. You get Incredible Hulk in the first 5 minutes of the film, and then there's no Incredible Hulk at the end. I was waiting for the Hulk to come out. He doesn't, and that really threw me for a loop, because that really disappointed me, because there were 4 separate times the Hulk could have came out during that last scene. But he didn't, and that, it is what it is, but excuse me, it definitely did disappoint me a lot that there was no Hulk in that last battle. But really, that's almost the only gripe I have about the film, to be completely honest. I think this is the best film Marvel's ever done. You know what I mean? I think it's the best film of the year so far. So really, those are my thoughts on it. I really love this movie. The Russo brothers, again, they deserve a ton of credit because I cannot imagine how hard this was to juggle all these characters. And not only that, the fan expectations of this movie, my goodness, were the fan expectations skyrocketed for this movie, and they handled it amazingly. So kudos once again to the Russo brothers. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with Avengers 4, and now the countdown begins 1 year from now until Avengers 4. But overall, those are my thoughts of the film. That's my spoiler review of the film. Definitely let me know what you guys think about the film in the comments below. I want to have a live discussion with all of you about your thoughts about this film and my thoughts. Do you guys agree or disagree with my thoughts about the film? And if you guys liked this video, be sure to click that thumbs up and share it around with all of your friends. But with all that out of the way, thank you for watching.